Okay. Okay, everybody. Moadim l'simcha, guten moed. We begin here the new parak of Kira, the third parak of Shabbat, and the Mishnah begins on Lamed Vav Amud Bet on 36b. Kira shehisikuha bekash uvegiveva. A kira, what is a kira? A kira was made like a round opening inside an oven. You had an oven inside, there was fire, had walls around it, and then it had a round opening for a pot to be placed inside of it, which means you put the pot on top, so it sat in that hole. And it got heated by the fire that was beneath. Okay, so instead of putting the food directly inside the oven, you put it on top of a hole and it sat inside that hot area. So the halachot of this Mishnah I'm going to teach you exactly on this parak. We know you may not kindle a fire, and we know that you may not cook on Shabbat. So the question is, how much can I do before Shabbat? And how much can I do on Shabbat if it's already cooked? And I'm not kindling, I'm just placing my food that's already cooked on the fire. So let's begin. Kira shehisikua bekash uvegiveva. A kira that was fired up with kash or giveva, which is, kash Rashi says is the ends of the stalks. Uvegiveva is some sort of things that are gathered from the field, stubble, and Rashi says istobla. Grass is like hay. So, notnim alea tavshil. You can place a cooked item, a dish, on such a kira. We're not worried about anything. Why are we not worried about anything? Exactly. You're not going to play around with that fire. That fire burns right away. So that's now. But here is what we're going to be dealing with for a long time. The gefet uveitzim. Gefet is the psolet, the bad stuff of the shum shemin, Rashi says, of the sesame seeds. Once you already crushed them and you extracted their oil, now you have these old sesame sediments and you use them for fuel. Uveitzim, or with wood. So the halacha is lo yiten. Don't place a dish on top of that kira. When shouldn't you place it? We'll see in the Gemara. The Gemara will ask that. But right now, let's just learn it before Shabbat even. Ad sheyigrof or ad sheyiten et ha'efer. Until you goref, yigrof is to rake. You rake out the coals. Or ad sheyiten et ha'efer. Or until you place ashes over the coals that are made out of gefet or eitzim. And Rashi understands, well, for sure, the second half, shiten et ha'efer, placing the ashes over the coals to cover them, and you cool them thereby, and therefore the person is distracted. So he's not going to come when he opens it up. He's not going to come to mix around the gechalim, to mix them around, because he's going to see that covering, and it's going to make the coals cold. And he's going to understand, it's not so clear how it's going to help. Either it's a reminder when he sees it covered, or it cools them off to a point where it wouldn't help to mix it. But it's some sort of reminder. Now, what about ad sheyigrof, the first one, to rake out the coals? So, raking out the coals would also help, right? If you rake out the coals, there's no coals anymore. So you're not going to be able to go and stoke the fire, stoke the coals, and try to hurry up the process of the cooking. Which means, what we're worried about here is that the person might get involved with the coals and stoke them to hurry up the cooking of his dish. So that is the halakha. Let's just say the halakha again because now it's going to get more detailed. If you fired it up with kash and givava, there's no worry that you're going to go and stoke that. That's gone very fast. But if you have gefet or eitzim, which last longer, and there's coals, then you cannot place it unless it's raked or covered. By the way, today a blech, I don't know how they call. What do they call a blech? You ever saw those metal sheets that cover over? You probably grew up with a blech. In Yiddish we say a blech. So that is kotum. That is this Mishnah. You are actually fulfilling this Mishnah. You're kotum. You are covering over the fire as a reminder. And most of them go like this, and then down. Well, they go over the controls because that's the way you stoke the fire today. So you have to cover the fire and the controls, and that's why you're allowed to leave something on the fire. Okay? We're going to get into all the details exactly. Which type of item, before, on Shabbat, returning. Okay? We'll get to that very soon. Now, Beit Shammai omrim, chamin avalot tavshil. Beit Shammai says a hot dish that doesn't need any more cooking. That's the way Rashi explains it. That is okay. But a tavshil that still needs some cooking, and you'd love if it cooked more, so that is a problem according to Beit Shammai, seemingly, even if you do what we just said you should do. Okay? Even if you were goref or kotem. That's a simple way to read the Mishnah. We'll see it different ways. Right? But that's what Beit Shammai is saying. If it's a tafshil, I'm still worried about it, even if you are goref v'kotem. Ubeit Hillel omrim chamin v'tafshil. No problem. Both of them. There's no problem. Beit Shammai omrim notlin avalo machzirin. The halacha is you can take off the pot on Shabbat. The pot that was left on before Shabbat can be taken off on Shabbat. Avalo machzirin. Once you take it off, you can't put it back on. That's called chazara. The first part is called shihiyah. Shihiyah means you let it stay. It was on before Shabbat with whatever heter, with whatever permission you had because you did everything you had to do. Now Beit Shammai says, okay, but no putting it back on. Why not? Because it looks like you're cooking. On Shabbat to put something on, then even though you made sure that you're not going to come to stoke the fire because it's garuf v'katum, and you're not really cooking because your item is already cooked. So what am I doing? I'm just getting some heat into my item, so it should be hot. I enjoy it more when it's hot. Can't do it. Beit Hillel omrim af machzirin. Beit Hillel says, once you have the heter set in place of garuf or katum, you can even return it. Not just leave it on before Shabbat, but even return it. Okay. So, the Gemara asks a question as follows. Ibayilhu. Hai lo yiten lo yachziru. When it says at the beginning, this is very important. This is what we're going to deal with the whole day today. Begefet uve'etzim, second line in the Mishnah. Lo yiten ad sheyigrof or ad sheyiten et efer. Don't place unless it's garuf, raked, or covered with ashes. So, Abayilu, hai lo yitain, lo yachziru. What does it mean, lo yitain? Means to return it, to put it back. In the middle of Shabbat, I take off my chamin, or my tafshil. Now I want to put it back. So the Mishnah says, don't do that unless you do garuf or katum. Okay? But it's not dealing with shihiyah, leaving it on from before Shabbat. Leaving it on from before Shabbat is more lenient, because you're not doing an act on Shabbat that looks like cooking. So the whole problem is only, not that it looks like it's cooking, but that you might come to stoke the fire. Avalishot, but to leave it on from before Shabbat, mashin afa pishenu garufa enu katum. The Mishnah is not dealing with that. And the inference of the Mishnah would be that to be machzir, if lo yiten means to return it on Shabbat, so there would be an issue unless you follow the instructions of the Mishnah and get the permission slip by making garuf a katum. But the inference would be that shehiyah, which is a step that's more lenient, leaving it there, would be okay even if there would be no garuf and no katum. You can leave it right on the pot, in the pot hole. You place the pot inside before Shabbat, even if it's not covered. The ashes are not covered, the ashes are not raked, the coals are not covered, and the coals are not raked out. That would be okay. That means there's no halacha that you need a blech from before Shabbat. Before Shabbat, everything's okay. Umani. And then who would the Mishnah be like? Chananya. It would be like Chananya, the famous Chananya. We're going to learn a lot about him in this parak. And what does Chananya hold? Titania. Because you learned it in a Braita. We mentioned him before in Shabbat. Chananya omer kol shehu kimachal ben drusoy mutar lehashoto al gabi kira. Anything which is cooked, as much as the food of Ben Drusai, who was a thief, and ate his food, either half cooked or third cooked, but not all the way done. Whatever the exact amount is subject to a machloket, but let's just say it's half. Mutar lahashoto, you're allowed to leave it on the fire. Agabe kira, afa pishe eno garuva eno katu. He says, we're now worried that you're going to be thinking, oh, let me hurry up the process. Because once it's edible, I leave it there. And it's edible. I'm not going to get involved in mixing around the coals anymore. So, according to Chananya, shehiyah, once it's cooked, partially, edible, I can leave it there without doing any garuf and katum. And then the Mishnah that says that you need to do garuf and katum is specifically speaking about chazara. What's chazara? Chazara is returning a pot on Shabbat. So there, it would not be okay, even if it would be halfway cooked, unless you goref or you koten, unless you cover it over.
So what's the lo yiten?
Lo yiten means on Shabbat, which means how do you put it on Shabbat? It means you took it off on Shabbat. You did the shehiyah. Now I want to yiten, I want to put it back on. Chazara.
So what's the lo yachzir then? Lo yiten, lo yachzir.
What did you say, lo yachzir?
Right in the Gemara, lo yiten, lo yachzir.
No, Ibailu, hai lo yiten, the words lo yiten, do they mean lo yachziru? Sorry, I didn't explain it right. Maybe I didn't explain enough. Do they mean, the words lo yiten, do they mean lo yachzir? And then the inference would be lishot mashin, even if it doesn't have, which means this Mishnah is not speaking about shehiyah. The Mishnah is only talking about chazara. Shehiyah is okay even without garuf and katum. You don't need any action to do shehiyah, because we're going like Chananya. Okay? Or Dilma, we're about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines after the Gemara starts on 36b. Or Dilma, or maybe Lishotinan. When it says Lo Yitain in the Mishnah, it's really speaking about Lo Yitain on Erev Shabbat. That's Lishot. To leave it there. Lishot means to leave it there from Erev Shabbat. And the Mishnah is telling you, V'igaru fekatum in. You can only do Shehiyah from before Shabbat, even if it's halfway edible, if it's raked or it's covered. Ilolo. But if it's not, may not leave it Erev Shabbat. And the Chol Shegein Lachzir, and all the more so on Shabbat, if you want to return it, you for sure can't do it unless you have this heter. So the question at hand really is there a halacha in this Mishnah that Shehiyah requires garuf and katum, raking or covering? If the Mishnah is dealing with Shehiyah, so the Mishnah is telling you can't do it unless you have garuf and katum. It's speaking about the Shehiyah, so you have to. But if the Mishnah is speaking about Chazara, which is a stricter law, so then the inference would be that anything less than that, Shehiyah, just leaving it there before Shabbat, doesn't need these halachot. Okay? Pretty straightforward question. Okay. Toshima. Let's try to bring a proof. Midikatoni. Since our Mishnah writes Trei Bavi b'masnitin, two different phrases, two different cases in our Mishnah. Beit Shammai Omrim. Look, there's a machloket Beit Shammai Beit Hillel about two things in our Mishnah. And the way that we bring the machloket is in two separate phrases. Follow this. Beit Shammai Omrim Chamin, Avalot Tavshil. Only if it's a hot item that doesn't need any more cooking, but not an item that's still being cooked. Beit Hillel Omrim Chamin v'Tavshil. And Beit Hillel says you could do whatever the Mishnah said you could do, even with a tavshil. And then Beit Shammai Omrim Notlin Avalo Machzirin. You can take it off the fire, can't return it. Beit Hillel Omrim Af Machzirin. Okay, you can even do Chazara. Okay, so what do we do now? We just repeated the Mishnah, but the Gemara says follow this. I Amid Bishlama. If you say peacefully, which means the following will be very nice to learn like this. Lishhot Tanan. That the Mishnah's first halacha was talking about Shehiyah. And it was saying that even to leave something on the fire before Shabbat, which is called Shehiyah, requires this prerequisite in order to make it okay. Garuf or Katum. So therefore, everything would work out for the rest of the Mishnah. Why? Because hachi katani. This is the way you would read the whole Mishnah. Kira shehisikua bekash uvegiveva mashin Allah. There's no issue at all. Mashin. Because we're not worried that you're going to stoke, because they burn out very quickly. Mashin Allah tavshil. You could put a tavshil on it, no problem. Begefet veitzim. However, these coals made out of gefet, old sesame seeds, or wood logs of wood, which turn into coals, lo yishhe. Why does it say lo yishhe? The Gemara is now being very specific because the Gemara is working with the side of the coin that's shehiyah. So it's saying lo yishhe, don't leave it on erev Shabbat, ad sheyigrof or ad sheyiten efer. Even shehiyah is asur, because if you leave it on from before Shabbat, you need to cover it over, because if you don't cover it, you might come on Shabbat to hurry up the process and play around with the fires to make the fires hotter. Right? That's basically raising the flame, raising the temperature. Umahen mashin. Now the Mishnah continues very nicely. It segues into the next part beautifully. And what are you allowed to be masheh? When it said that you can do it, if you do garuf v'katum, what can you do? Beit Shammai Omrim Chamin, Avalot Tavshil. Something that doesn't need any more cooking, like a chamin. It's hot, it's done. Then you could do it, you could leave it on if it's garuf and katum. Avalot Tavshil. Tavshil, that it's still pleasing to make it better, that you can't do. So basically, Beit Shammai is arguing with this garuf v'katum heter. Ubeit Hillel Omrin Chamin v'tavshil. You could do shihiyah that's garuf and katum for even a tafshil. And now the Mishnah continues and says, "V'chihechi de pligi bilishot pligi nami bilhachzir." And just like they argue about shihiyah, or what you're allowed to be shoheh, what you're allowed to leave on before Shabbat when it's garuf katum, pligi nami bilhachzir. They argue about those things, those exact things that they argue about, which are that tafshil, that Beit Shammai said you can't, and Beit Hillel said you could. On that tafshil, that's what they argue about in the next phrase about chazara. Shebeit Shammai omrim notlin avalo machzirin. Beit Shammai says you can take it off, but you can't return it. What can't you return? Even the chamin, right? Even the chamin that Beit Shammai was speaking about before. He said that you can do because there's a new problem, even though it doesn't need any more cooking. And it's already garuf katum, so what's the problem here? No, because it looks like you're cooking. He doesn't like that. Beit Hillel af machzirin. And Beit Hillel says, whatever I allowed for the shihiyah, I allow for the chazara. Beit Shammai says, whatever I allowed in the shihiyah is only for the shihiyah. So first of all, Beit Shammai is being more strict about what you can be shoheh even when it's garuf katum. Second of all, he says there's no such a thing as being choser, as returning it. Whatever I allowed for shihiyah, which was limited, according to Beit Shammai, forget about chazara. I don't want to hear about chazara. And Beit Hillel says, first of all, I was more liberal in the shihiyah. Second of all, whatever you can do shihiyah for, you do it with the way the Mishnah says, you do garuf katum, you can do chazara. You can put, okay? Okay? So it's a very nice way of reading the Mishnah. Let's just say it over, because the Gemara is now coming in for the kasha. The Gemara is saying, this is the nice way. The other way we're going to have a problem with. So let's just say the nice way again. That the Mishnah is talking about a case of shihiyah. And it's saying that if you make coals of gefet and itzim, you can't lo yiten. Lo yiten means what? To leave it on before Shabbat, unless you goref or kotem. And what could you be masher when you goref or kotem? Beit Shammai says only chamin and not a tafshil. Beit Hillel says no, shihiyah can be done even with a tafshil. Once you do goref or kotem, we're not worried that you're going to come to stoke the fires. And then Beit Shammai says, all right, even though I allowed one matter, one thing, to be shihiyah when it's goref, but there's no chazara on that. Beit Hillel says, whatever I allowed shihiyah for, there is chazara. There's chazara too. Chazara means to return it on Shabbat. So the Gemara says, that is all very beautiful if you learn shihiyah. But if you understand the Mishnah is speaking about putting it back on Shabbat, hachikatani. So this is what the Mishnah is saying. That means the Mishnah is being much more lenient. Remember that. Remember this for the rest of the day. Whenever the Mishnah is speaking about chazara, the inference is, shihiyah wasn't even mentioned in the Mishnah. That's like, you don't need all these mechanics of how to make it okay. It's just okay. So, hachikatani, this is the way we read the Mishnah. And you'll see where we get a little stuck. That's the Gemara's kasha. Kira shehistikua b'kasha v'givah. A kira that was heated with kasha v'givah, machzirin, because that's what the Mishnah's theme now is, lo yuten, all these halachot are about chazara. You could return it, if it was there from before Shabbat, you could even return it on Shabbat. We're not worried about it looking like being cooked. But, machzirin le'al tafshil. Begefer the veitzim, however, lo yachzir, don't return it, ad sheyigrof, ad sheyiten efer. Don't put it back on the fire. Of course, you can leave it on the fire before, but on Shabbat itself, don't return it to the fire until you cover it or you rake it out. That's what it's telling you. Umahen machzirin. And which items could you put on with this heter, with this permission of garuf and katum? Beit Shammai omrim chamin, aval lo tafshil. Ubeit Hillel omrim chamin v'tafshil. Beit Shammai says hot things, but not cooked. And Beit Hillel says hot and cooked. Now, cooked means things that still, hot means done. Tafshil means things that still need more cooking. And Beit Hillel says, even though it needs a little more cooking, I'm not going to stoke the fires because I already did garuf katum. Then let's try to read the next line. Beit Shammai omrim notlin avalo machzirin. You can only take it off but you can't return. Didn't you just say that? What can't you return?
Tafshil.
What?
Tafshil.
Tafshil, obviously, because it says Rashi, exactly what Amnon just said. It can't be speaking about chamin, because a second ago we said, what can you be machzir? And Beit Shammai says, chamin, you could be machzir. So obviously, when he's saying avalo machzirin, he's talking about tafshil. And he already said that. So a second ago he just said it. He said the only thing you can do chazara is chamin avalo tafshil. And then he says it again. Beit Shammai omrim notlin avalo machzirin tafshil. That's exactly what he just said. Ubeit Hillel omrim af machzirin what a tafshil. Hatu lamali. So two means this repetition lamali. Why do I need it? The first machloket of Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel was about chazara. What you could do chazara with when it's garuf and katum. Beit Shammai says chamin, not a tafshil. And Beit Hillel says even tafshil. And the second machloket is the same exact thing. What's the second machloket? Don't be choser, don't be machzir tafshil. Beit Hillel says you could be machzir tafshil. That's what you just said in the first machloket. That's why it doesn't really work, says the Gemara. Okay. With this way of saying that the Mishnah is talking about chazara. If you say it's talking about chazara, lo yiten ad sheyigrof ad sheyiten et ha'efer on the top means don't be machzir. Then the next machloket is, so the machloket Beit Shammai is what exactly are you talking about of chazara? Beit Shammai says only chamin but not tafshil. Beit Hillel says even tafshil. And then they say, by the way, Beit Shammai says don't be machzir. Same thing again. If you say it's shehiyah, so the whole beginning of the Mishnah is talking about shehiyah. And then Beit Shammai says, I have another chumrah I want to tell you about. Besides that, I'm more limited in the shehiyah halachot that has what could be that needs garuf and katum. It could only be on chamin and not tafshil. But I want to tell you something. Chazara in my world is out totally. I don't care what garuf, what katum, even if it's chamin, nothing. Beit Hillel says, no, chazara is also in play. But if the whole Mishnah was talking about chazara, they already spoke about it. So what's the last line? It's a repetitive line. Says the Gemara, Le'olam eim lecha lahachzir tena. Says the Gemara, I can make it work with chazara as well. V'chisturei mechzirom. I should face it like this more. But chisturei mechzir, what does that mean? Chisturei mechzir. It's missing some words. You have to add just a little fill-in words. That's all. And the Mishnah is beautiful. V'achri katani. Kira shehisikua bekasha v'givava. If you hit it with just kasha v'giva, machzirin. We're going to go with chazara. We're going to try it again. Remember, the problem with chazara is the last sentence in the Mishnah is repetitive. Okay? Until now, all we were speaking about in the Mishnah, if it's chazara, was just chazara. Chazara, 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 chazara. Therefore, the last line was repetitive. But listen to the way the Gemara does it now. Kira shehisikua bekash uvegiva, machzirin alea tafshil. Kira, that was heated with kash uvegiva, you could return a tafshil, no problem. Begefet uv etzim, But if you have real coals in there, lo yachzir ad sheyigrof or ad sheyitin et ha'efer. Don't put it back until you do garuf or katum. Okay? Aval katum, by the way, I keep saying katum. Katum is covering. It means sheyitin et ha'efer, to cover. Aval lishhot, here's the little added part. The inference, you have to add. The inference is not just an inference in your mind that you make. The Mishnah said it. Aval lishhot mashin. Aval pisheinu garuv ve'enu katum. But to leave something on from before Shabbat is okay, even if it's not raked or not covered. Umahein mashin. And what can you leave on from before Shabbat? Which means, the Mishnah's machloket is not about chazara, umahein machzirin, like we learned. It's on the inference. Because you know who makes the inference? The Mishnah itself. And therefore the Mishnah continues talking about the other case. Chazara is only okay if you do garuf katum. Shihiyah is even if it's not garuf katum. So now the Mishnah says like this. So according to this way, I told you this before, Shihiyah is very, very free. There's no garuf, no katum. You don't have to do anything. If it's before Shabbat, you leave it on, even without covering it, without raking it. Oh, but wait. What exactly could you do on Friday? Umahen mashin, without any garuf and without any katum. What could you leave right on the fire? So Beit Shammai omrin chamin, aval lo tafshil. So this ubeit Hillel omrin chamin v'tafshil. Even things that may benefit from more cooking, we're not worried that you're going to go stoke the fire. Okay? It needs an explanation exactly why. What's the difference if I did it on Friday or I did it on Shabbat? If you want to hurry it up, It's a good question. But this is what the Mishnah is talking about. The Mishnah is talking about leaving it on before Shabbat without coming on to the garuf and katum. Because garuf and katum was only prescribed for chazara. That's what the Mishnah is talking about. That's what we want to make it work. But shihiyah is okay even without that. And then they have machloket, which type of shihiyot are okay. Beit Shammai says, you want to do chamin, something that's totally cooked, on Friday, then I'll let you do it without garuf and katum. Right? But tafshil, you need to do garuf and katum. Beit Hillel says, no, if you do it on Friday, you could even do it to a tafshil that benefits from more cooking. So they never really argued yet about. Right now, Beit Shammai Beit Hillel was only arguing about shihiyah. V'hach chazara de amilach. And now the Mishnah adds a new clause. The new clause is as follows. The chazara that we said at the beginning of the Mishnah, that what? That it started, the Mishnah said, do not do chazara unless you're goref or kotem. That was like it was just a very closed statement. It sounded like everybody was everybody held to that. Shihiyah wasn't speaking about. Shihiyah was okay even without it. But chazara, you need to do goref or katum. So now the Mishnah goes back to that and says, oh, you know that chazara that I allowed you to do if you do goref or katum? Lav derei hakoli. That's not according to everyone. Ela machloket Beit Shammai Beit Hillel. That's another machloket Beit Shammai Beit Hillel. Beit Shammai omrim notin v'lo machzirin. Beit Shammai doesn't want to hear about chazara. Beit Hillel omrim af machzirin. Beit Hillel says you can even do chazara. So the first, according to this way, let's read the Mishnah again. Go back into your Mishnah. Kirish yisikul bekasha v'givah notnim alei tafshil, no problem. So that's kash and givah, not dealing with that. Begefer the veitzim lo yitain. Don't return it on Shabbat, no chazara, unless you do the following: ad sheyigrof or ad sheyitain et ha'efer. Okay, is that according to everyone? No, because the end of the Mishnah, skip the next machlokes for a second, says that's only according to Beit Hillel. Beit Shammai notlin avalo machzirin, Beit Hillel af machzirin. Beit Shammai doesn't like the whole idea of chazara at all. He's letting you know at the end that he argues with the first halacha in the Mishnah. So then why is he allowing chamin in the second clause of the Mishnah? That is the inference case. Because what you do is you say, lo yitain for chazara. But what about shehiyah before Shabbat? Oh, shehiyah with garuf v'katum b'Shabbat says that I'll allow. How will you allow it? I'll allow that with... excuse me. What did I just say? I'll allow even without garuf and katum. So that's why I'm saying, excuse me, sorry. Because the inference is like this, and the Mishnah actually says it. You have to put it in. Don't place until you do garuf and katum. But shehiyah, even without garuf and katum. So, without garuf and katum, wow, on what? Shabbos says chamin, but not tafshil. Beit Hillel says even tafshil. Okay, so the Beit Shammai only allows non-garuf v'katum, and only allows something in this whole Mishnah. The only allowance that he gives in this whole Mishnah is for shehiyah without garuf v'katum. But chazara, which the beginning of the Mishnah allowed with garuf and katum, Beit Shammai at the end of the Mishnah says, I don't allow that at all. Okay? So now we can work the Mishnah out both ways. Now you probably forgot the first way of reading the Mishnah. Makes sense. It's normal. The Gemara said that one ran really smooth. Okay, but this is the way the Gemara wants to make it work. Now the Gemara...
What about the second way?
I think so, yeah. Actually, because, and the top Tosfos says that since we paskin like Hananya, which holds that you, for shehiyah, you could do even without garuf and katum, once it's machal ben drusoi. So therefore we're pushing and we're squeezing in added little words. Why are we doing that? Because we want to make it work with Chananya. We want to make our Mishnah, which is a Stam Mishnah, work, halacha, like Chananya, because we want to go with Chananya. So even if it's a little bit harder, we'll do it. Okay. If you find this a little difficult, that means that you're normal. So it's okay. So just rewind the tape a little bit and chew it over. It's not that difficult. Okay. So now there are two ways of reading the Mishnah. Let me just say the two ways over again. The two ways quickly are, let's read the Mishnah. We have to read the Mishnah. That's the Gemara is not in a vacuum. The Gemara is always back into the Mishnah. No problem. Now I'm going to read it the first way, not the way we've just been. Lo yiten on erev Shabbat. That's called shehiyah. Even erev Shabbat, which is called shehiyah, it needs to come on to this heter, to this prerequisite of garuf or katum. Beit Shammai says, you know which things you could do with that heter, chamin, but not tafshil. V'til omrin, chamin v'tafshil. You could do everything with shehiyah as long as it's garuf or katum. What about chazara? Chazara is already harder. Beit Shammai, I don't want to hear of it. Notlin, not only am I limited in the shehiyah with garuf and katum, but chazara is out completely. Even with v'til omrin, no. Chazara is in the same boat as shehiyah, even though I can understand, but no, chazara is just as good. That's a very smooth way of reading the Mishnah of shehiyah. The other way is like this. Fine. Don't do chazara. What about shehiyah? You didn't mention. Says the Mishnah, you have to add these words. Shehiyah is okay even without it. You know why I didn't mention it? Because oh, really? Beit Shammai, and which things can you do even without anything? The most liberal fashion. Beit Shammai omrim chamin avalot tafshil. That not. Ubeit Hillel omrim chamin v'tafshil. Beit Shammai omrim, And now Beit Shammai goes back and says, and you know that halacha that you said about Chazara at the beginning, that if you do Garif or Katim, it's okay. No. I argue with that whole halacha in the first place. So it's the first time that Beit Shammai ever said his opinion that he doesn't agree with Chazara. It's not the second time. The Gemara's question was, it's the second time speaking about it. The basic answer is, the first clause of Beit Shammai was not speaking about Chazara. It was talking about Shehiyah, because you have to add the words that Shehiyah is okay. Okay? That is what's going on here. Toshima. So the Gemara now wants to prove which way is the right way to read the Mishnah. Rav said that the heter in this Mishnah, heter means the permission, the okay, is only upon it, but not inside it. Okay? Because it's not so hot. But inside, if you want to place an item inside the oven, not on top of the hole, that's asur. That's what Rav said about our Mishnah. Our Mishnah's allowance is only upon it and not inside it. So the Gemara says, if you learn the second way, which means, so if you learn that the Mishnah is talking about Chazara, then the Mishnah itself mentioned that Shehiyah is okay, even without anything. Again, if the Mishnah is telling you that Garuf and Katum is by Chazara, that means, then the Mishnah actually says that you have to add those words, that Shehiyah is okay even without Garuf and Katum. So if Shehiyah is okay without Garuf and Katum, on that heter, on that permission that Shehiyah without Garuf and Katum, comes along Rav and says, that's okay. You want to do Shehiyah without Garuf Katum, that will be on top. But inside, that's too hot. Even Shehiyah on Friday, you can't do it without Garuf Katum inside. Okay? That's very nice. But if you say that the Mishnah's heter of Garuf Katum is going on Shehiyah, that what? That even Shehiyah needs Garuf. So what is it telling you? It's telling you that if you do Garuf on Shehiyah, it's okay, the Mishnah say. So he's saying that if you do Garuf, it's okay only if it's on top but not inside. So the Gemara says, Mali tocha, Mali al gaba. What would be the difference? Once Rav would be speaking about Garuf and Katum, because the Mishnah is speaking about Shehiyah, not Chazara, and the Mishnah is telling you that on Shehiyah itself you need Garuf and Katum. So once I'm covering it or raking it out, what is the difference where I place it? I'm doing it on Friday, and I'm covering the ashes. So now I can't do it inside. The Gemara doesn't seem to feel that there's a difference. So therefore the Gemara wants to say, you see from here, that Rav only makes sense if you learn the Mishnah the second way with Chazara. So the Gemara says, no, that's not a proof. Who said that Reb Chelbo in the name of Rav was talking about the first halacha in the Mishnah of Garuf Katum, which you said is going on Shehiyah? The Reb Chelbo in the name of Rav is really speaking about the end of the Mishnah, which was like this. What did the end of the Mishnah say? Beit Hillel says, not only could you do Shehiyah when it's Garuf V'Katum, but I even allow Chazara. Right? When it's Garuf V'Katum. The heter of Chazara, that will be only okay if it's on top of it but not inside. Now, why would that be different? Once you're doing karuf and katum, just like the Gemara said, there shouldn't be any difference for shehiyah. Why would there be a difference for chazara, inside or on top? Once I'm doing, I did it with the heter. It also needs an explanation. It's not so simple. Why? Because maybe in the middle of Shabbat, chazara is a whole new dimension of mechzik mevashel, of looking like you're cooking, the way it looks. So putting it inside, even if you covered it, but maybe it's more, it's not as transparent, and people will think that you're actually cooking. The truth is, it's not so simple. I don't know exactly why, but the simple way, without really understanding, is just to know that chazara, it's worse. So over there we could understand that there might be a difference between on top and inside. But the truth is, it's not. I didn't explain it well. Maybe tomorrow, Be'ezrat Hashem, I'll look up a svara. Toshima. Okay, so the Gemara didn't have a proof yet. Toshima. Let's see if we go a little further. Beit kirot hametimot. Achat grufa ktuma ve'achat she'ena grufa ve'ena ktuma. You have two of these ovens that have a hole on top for the like a stove hole, and but they're attached to each other. Two of them, but there's a wall in between them. Okay, one of them is garuf katum, one side, and the other one is not. Mashin al gabe grufa uktuma, ve'ein mashin al she'ena grufa ve'ena ktuma. You're allowed to do hashihiyah on the one that's girufa and ktuma. You can't do on the one that's not girufa and ktuma. Now, what's the chidush? What? If you're trying to say that shehiyah is okay with garuf and ktuma and not just talk about one, the answer is the chidush is that even though I might be getting some heat from the one that's not garuf and ktuma, it's not an issue because my side was done properly, was garuf or katum, so I could put it there. Okay, so obviously this braita definitely holds that you need to do garuf and katum for shehiyah. Okay, that was two ways that we learned. One of the ways we didn't need that, but this braita obviously is requiring garuf and katum straight out for shehiyah, even for Friday. Umahein mashin. Listen to that, the braita goes. And what are you allowed to leave there? Bechame omrim velo klum. Ubetil omrim chamin. Now you're going to be very mixed up now because you're going to say, "What? That's how Beit Shammai said in my Mishnah." It's true. This first opinion in Beit Shammai Beit Hillel is not anything similar to our Mishnah. So just even though it says Beit Shammai Beit Hillel, get used to the fact that it's going to sound very different. Beit Shammai over here says nada, nothing. Ubeit Hillel omrim chamin avalot tafshil. Beit Hillel sounds like our Beit Shammai. Okay. Akar, once I took it off the fire, divrei akol lo yachzir. Even Beit Hillel, no chazara. So Beit Hillel like turns into our Beit Shammai. Beit Shammai is even worse. Okay? Divrei Rabbi Meir. This is Rabbi Meir's interpretation of the machloket Beit Shammai Beit Hillel. Okay? Rabbi Yehuda says, no, I'll tell you what the machloket Beit Shammai Beit Hillel is. Beit Shammai omrim chamin avalot tafshil. It sounds like our Mishnah. But Beit Hillel omrim chamin v'tafshil. Beit Hillel says chamin and tafshil. Beit Shammai omrim notlin avalo machzirin. Beit Hillel omrim af machzirin. Not everybody like Rabbi Meir said divrei akol lo machzirin. No, Beit Hillel does the hold of chazara. So the Gemara says, I amrit bishlama lishot tenan. Now, we have a machloket Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, about what the machloket Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel is. Okay? That's pretty obvious. So, as long as you can get one of these two mandam, Rabbi Meir's way of learning Beit Shammai Beit Hillel, or Rabbi Yehuda's way of learning Beit Shammai Beit Hillel, right? Which obviously we're going to go try with Rabbi Yehuda. make that interpretation of Beit Shammai work with our Mishnah. Then you're in business. But if neither of them, not Rabbi Meir's interpretation of the Machloket or Rabbi Yehuda's, work with our Mishnah, so our Mishnah is kind of like, so then it's not reasonable to say that our Mishnah is like a third opinion. Maybe the Gemara will say that at the end. That's maybe a little bit of a mixed, but that is where the Gemara is going. So the Gemara is like this. If you say that our Mishnah is talking about Shehiyah, Matnitin Mani Rabbi Yehudi, then our Mishnah says that our Mishnah is talking about Shehiyah and it requires Garuf and Katum. That's exactly what this Braita just did. It said here that if you have two of these stovetops, you're allowed to be masheh on the one that's Garuf and Katum. And then it says, what are you allowed to be masheh? According to Rabbi Yehuda, the machloket would be exactly the words of our Mishnah. Beit Shammai says chamin and tafshil, and Beit Hillel says even tafshil. And what are you allowed to do chazara? Beit Shammai says no chazara. Beit Hillel says yes chazara. So then it's a perfect fit. It's very nice. So you see that if you think shehiyah, the way of learning the Mishnah, that works with this Braita, with Rabbi Yehuda. So our Mishnah will be like Rabbi Yehuda. So you have a nice match at least. But if you but if our Mishnah was talking about hachzir, and then the Mishnah added those words, like the Gemara said on top, but shehiyah you could do even without garuf and katum. So matnitin mani lo Rabbi Yehuda v'lo Rabbi Meir. It's not going to work with any of the two, because Rabbi Meir kasha lebeit Shammai bechado lebeit Hillel betarti. According to Rabbi Meir, our Mishnah over here is saying that Shehiyah you can do without Garuf and Katum. And according to Rabbi Meir, Beit Shammai says that you can't do Shehiyah. Okay? Fine. And Beit Hillel, there's going to be two problems. Number one, Beit Hillel is allowing in our Mishnah, Shehiyah is okay even without Garuf and Katum. But according to Meir, it's only okay with Chamin and not with Tafshil. And again, in our Mishnah, let's say that again. In our Mishnah, even without Garuf and Katum, Shehiyah is okay. No. And in this Mishnah, in this Braita, Rabbi Meir, in Beit Hillel is only allowing with Garuf Katum. With Garuf Katum. Chamin. And not only that, but Betarti, there's another problem. Because according to Rabbi Meir, everyone, even Beit Hillel, wants you want to do Chazara, no Chazara. But our Mishnah says yes Chazara. So Beit Hillel will be arguing by the Shehiyah with Rabbi Meir, and Beit Hillel will be arguing with Rabbi Meir's Beit Hillel in the Chazara as well. So that's totally out. And even if you go with Rabbi Yehuda, Kasha Grufu Ktuma, which means that our Mishnah is allowing Shehiyah without any Grufa V'Ketum, because our Mishnah is talking about Chazara that needs Grufa V'Ketum, but the inference, and which is actually made, is that if it's just Shehiyah from Friday, you don't need Garuf V'Katum at all. And Rabbi Yehuda is saying, this Braita is saying, you need to do Garuf V'Katum with Shehiyah. The question is just on what? So, Garuf V'Katum will be a problem. So it won't work with any of them. So the Gemara is saying that the Chazara doesn't work. The second side works with Chananya, doesn't work for this Braita. So the Gemara says, La'achzir tenan. Really, I could tell you that our Mishnah is Lahachzir. V'tana didan tzavar l'Rabbi Yehuda b'chada u'pal l'galea b'chada. Our Tana agrees with Rabbi Yehuda in one, which means it's like a third opinion. There's Rabbi Meir, which is totally not like our Mishnah. Rabbi Yehuda, which is also not so much like our Mishnah, but there's a third opinion. He holds like Rabbi Yehuda in one way, and he argues with him one way. What does he agree with Rabbi Yehuda? Bechamin, uvtavshil. Sorry. Akiva? No, I'm not there yet. I'm still finishing the shir now. Okay? Bye-bye. Sorry, everybody. So, it means like this. Savala Krab Yehuda b'chada palgala b'chada. Savala Krab Yehuda b'chada b'chamin v'tavshil. Our Mishnah will hold like Rabbi Yehuda in chamin v'tavshil. V'notlin u'machzirin. Which means that our Mishnah, how did it explain the mechloket between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel? How did it explain the mechloket Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel? Our Mishnah. By chamin and tavshil. Okay? So that will work with Rabbi Yehuda. Because Rabbi Yehuda, why? Because Rabbi Yehuda said that that's the same machloket, the same words. He didn't say it's a question about, like Rabbi Meir said, Rabbi Meir said the words were, what did Rabbi Meir say? Lo klum or chamin. He made Beit Shammai into nothing and Beit Hillel into chamin. Right? So into Beit Hillel into chamin. No, at least that will work with the way Rabbi Yehuda matches it up, right? Our Mishnah is chamin or tafshil or just chamin. Another thing that the Mishnah will agree with Rabbi Yehuda is about the machloket about chazara. That Beit Hillel says chazara is also okay, and Beit Shammai says it's not okay. But they'll argue Rabbi Yehuda will hold that the machloket that you need garufa katum even by shehiyah. Even by shehiyah. But our Mishnah, what was the inference again? If you learn with Chazara in our Mishnah, we'll argue on that. That detail we'll argue. It's like a third opinion. It's Chazara needs Gerufa and Ktuma. Aval Lishot. But Shiyah doesn't need anything. So it'll be like right? So it's not a Meir, not a Rabbi Yehuda, but it's at least somewhat like Rabbi Yehuda. I don't know why the Gemara is so happy with that answer. It's still not working with Rabbi Yehuda. You still have to say, even though he agrees somewhat with Rabbi Yehuda, it's somewhat similar. I guess the Gemara is happy with that. I think we should stop over here. B'ezrat Hashem, tomorrow 7:30. Chazak Baruch. Moadim Simcha.